Hi all. Today I will like to show you the one of the important topic of Springboot, that is transaction management. So transaction management is one of the important topic nowadays. So whenever we are doing any transaction, so the transaction management system will come in our daily basis. So all of you know that, so currently we used to pay using our Google Pay, Phone Pay, and we are basically doing the online transaction in a day most of the time. So the transaction management is one of the important feature of the Spring Boot application. Let's see how we can implement this transaction management system. So before starting the code part of the transaction management system, I will give you a simple overview. So what is the real-time execution of the transaction management? So let's say you want to book a ticket through an IRCTC website. Okay, so what you need to do, if you don't have any registered user, then you need to first register yourself through IRCTC app or IRCTC website, and then you need to log in your user ID and password. You need to select the source station and destination station, and you need to find the train, and you should book the ticket. So while booking the ticket, you need to have to do payment via debit card, credit card, or nowadays you can pay Google Pay, Phone Pay, Amazon Pay, etc. So there are a couple of issues we used to follow in a regular basis while doing the transaction in the IRCTC website. Not even IRCTC, if you want to book a flight through Make My Trip or Go Ibibo, or if you want to book hotel from the Make My Trip or Go Ibibo. So we usually used to face some kind of issues over there. So what kind of issues we facing? Sometimes system failure, either app is not working properly or your mobile is having some issues, or otherwise sometimes we are facing some internet connectivity issue or some payment related issue we are facing on daily basis. So in most of the time we are facing one kind of issues while booking the ticket in IRCTC or any other Make My Trip or Xgo website or flight or train. So we see that whenever we are doing any payment transaction, so payment has been successfully debited from our bank, but the ticket is not booking successfully. So after giving the your card details and the CVV and the OTP from your mobile, so you see that that amount, whatever the amount you have entered for the booking the ticket, that amount has been debited from your bank, but the ticket is not yet booked right now. It's showing some pending status or transaction is not completed, or some kind of information, error information you will get. So this is one kind of regular scenario nowadays, all the user used to facing while booking the ticket. So the way to overcome this kind of situation, we should have one important thing, that is transaction management. So to achieve this transaction management, we will have one annotation called at the rate transactional. So this annotation you can use either class level or method level. So to implement this annotation, we have to use one more annotation, that is at the rate enable transaction management. So whenever you are using at the rate enable transaction management, so what it will do, while you doing any transaction, it will roll back if the transaction is not successful done from your end. Suppose if you are booking the ticket and you have the payment, but in case payment is failure, so while payment is failure and if you're using any at the rate transaction annotation, so if the payment is failure, then neither ticket will book nor the amount will be debited from your bank. But if you are not using at the rate transaction management or at the rate transaction annotation in our Spring Boot application, then the amount will be debited from our bank, but ticket will not booked. So most of the time we are facing this kind of scenario in our daily basis. So suppose you are, if you are planning a long trip, long vacation, and if you are going to book the ticket, so suddenly you see that the amount has been debited from your bank, but the ticket has not yet booked. So you need to call the IRCTC customer care, you need to call the bank side customer care, and the timeline is between 5 to 7 working days. The amount will be refunded if the amount is not yet reached from the your bank to IRCTC IRCTC portal or IRCTC mm, payment. So that's to overcome this kind of problem, we should use at the rate transaction annotation. So whenever you are creating any Spring Boot application, and if that Spring Boot application is related any kind of payment information or any kind of database information, I will suggest you should use at the rate transaction annotation. So if you are using at the rate transaction annotation, you can roll back if the transaction will not successfully completed. It will roll back in both the way. It will not debited the amount from your bank, and neither it will debited the amount from your bank, nor it will book the ticket from the IRCTC website. But if you are not using at the rate transaction annotation, though the ticket has not yet booked via portal, but the amount has been debited from your bank. So this is a very big crucial issues in our life. So let's see an example how we can achieve that one. So I'm taking one Spring Boot application over here. So in the customer class, I'm just taking one customer name, customer phone number, customer email ID, and in the railway I'm taking railway id, that the user id, you can say train name, seat number, coach number, and I'm joining the column called customer id. So it's a nothing but a one-to-one mapping, because one customer can access with one ticket, so that's why it's a one-to-one mapping. So if you go to the repository part, so here I am taking two repository. One is customer repository, which will extend JPA repository. We can do any card operation. The same thing we have done in the railway repository. It's a railway repository which will extend the JPA repository. The same thing will basically do card operation. Now let's take a look on the service class. So in the service class, what I have done, I am just first saving all the details from the customer, whatever the customer details I am passing through the either postman or so. Then I'm setting up the here details, the railway details. So here I want to book the ticket, the first class ticket for the Rajdhani Express, and I want to save it. And then I'm calling here one method called ticket booking. So if you go to the ticket booking method, so that method is present in the railway service IMPL class. So in the railway service IMPL class, I'm just simply calling the railway repository and save the ticket. If you see the controller class, so in the controller class we are having only one method, that is booking method. So I'm just calling this particular method, so which will internally call the railway service along with the customer service, and then we will get the message like that booking successfully done and with the status code. So before going to execute this program, so now we can see two things. So here there is a two table, one is customer, one is railway information. Let's say it's a IRCTC, from this part is from the IRCTC side. So if we are entering the customer details called customer name, customer phone number, customer email id, and all the details we need to add, right, while giving the booking the ticket, while booking the ticket. And after doing the payment, so here I'm not showing any payment kind of information, means payment of the transaction. So I'm just saving the customer details, and then it will come back to the railway part and it will check and it will save the railway details. So once the customer has successfully booked, so it will come to the railway part, and then it will book the train, whatever the train details I have set over there. So now if I run this program, okay, let me run that one. Yeah, so if I run that program, so you can see create table customer with customer id, email, wa- worker name, phone number, okay, where id is the primary key. Same thing we have done with the railway booking id, the coach number, the seat number, and the train number, okay, where customer id is the, and customer id, where customer id is the foreign key which has been mentioned in the below. Alter table railway booking, add constant customer id as a foreign key. So if I see over there, in the table itself. So here h2 console. Okay. So in very beginning of the beginning video, I have already informed you that if you want to run the program in any other port apart from 8080, which is the by default port, so you can give like that server.port in the YML file, either YML file or application.properties file, whatever the file you can use, anything is fine. The same thing you can do the server.port equal to 8082. So you can give any port number over there. You can give any custom port number over there. So remember, this is one kind of important interview question. Basically, interview should ask in your interview time. So here, so that's why whenever I am trying to run in 8080, it's not running because port is running on 8082. Okay, so let's connect. So here you can see two tables has been created. One is customer, one is railway booking. So now what I need to do, as the railway part I have already hard coded from the code itself. So I just need to give the customer details over there. So I'm giving the customer details, name as by name, contact number. Okay, and the customer email ID. So if I click on this one, so you can see like that message we got, booking successfully done. So now let's check whether booking successfully done or not. So if I see here first in the customer table, so let's see. Yes, here it is coming properly. Now I need to check from the IRCTC website, railway booking. So if I check in the railway booking, awesome. Here for the customer ID 1, I have booked one ticket for the Rajdhani Express. The coach number is A1, the seat number is 45. So I have successfully booked the ticket for the Rajdhani Express. So I can now enjoy my vacation. So this is one of the important feature of the transaction. So now I will show you what is transaction over here and how it worked. So if you see in that customer service, here I have given at the rate transactional. So at the rate transactional is annotation is declared in as it is a class level annotation. And whenever we are declaring annotation at the rate transaction, that means it will give you the transaction management system. So if whenever you are trying to create the transaction management system via database connectivity, you should use at the rate transactional as class level or method level. As it is, you can use the class level, you can use the method level, and also in the main class you have to use at the rate enable transaction management. So whenever you are using at the rate enable transaction management, so it will insist the transaction management system via Springboot application. So if you are not giving at the rate enable transaction management, so if you are doing any changes in the database, it will not roll back. You can't roll back whatever the changes you have done. You can't able to roll back that changes, because if you are not enabling this part at the rate enable transaction management. So this is one of the important feature of the Spring Boot application. So now transaction is good. Now I will show you if I am not using at the rate transactional annotation. So let's take a look. So let me stop this one. Let me go to the customer service and okay. So now anyhow I just need to give the thing that either system is failure or payment is failure. So here also I'm just removing this. So now let me run this one. So here you can see these are the same thing, common thing, because this is not related to any kind of transaction, because this is related to one-to-one mapping. In the last video I have already showed you many to one mapping, and this is related to one-to-one mapping. So it will not impact while creating the table. So table will be created successfully. So if you check over here, so if you refresh this one, if you connect this one, you can see like that table has been created successfully, because table creation is not related to at the rate transaction management system. Now if I need to add the same data, if I want to book the ticket right now, so what will happen? So let me clear the logs and we'll check over here. Here you can see I'm getting the error because in the error message I'm not getting the error in a proper way, so that's why I'm getting the error. So if you see like that over here, you can see like that cannot invoke because it's lull. So in real time scenario you are getting like that system failure or some internet connectivity issue or some other thing you will get. So now if you check over here, if you check in the db, select star from customer, and if you run that one you can see your details has been uploaded into the database. But if you want to check the railway booking part, you can see like that no ticket has been booked. That means you have done the payment, your payment has been, amount has been debited from your bank, but the ticket is not yet booked. It's showing some pending status or some failure status. So this is one of the important problem, or this is one of the crucial problem basically nowadays. So your amount has been debited from your bank but your ticket is not yet booked. Then you need to you might have to reach out to the ISCTC customer service or bank side customer service to either to book the ticket, or in most of the case they will refund the amount, but it will take 5 to 7 working days, and it will disrupt your all the vacation plan. So to overcome this problem, because here you can see like that though the ticket has not yet booked, but the details has already saved in the customer table but not in the railway booking table. To overcome this problem, what I can say, I will use at the rate transaction. So let's use at the rate transaction over here in the customer service. Use at the rate transactional. The same way you have to enable at the rate transaction management. Now I have enabled at the rate transaction and as well as at the rate transaction management. Now let's run the program once again and see what will happen. Okay, okay. Let's save that. Now let's run the program once again. As we have run the new fresh program, so table has been created successfully. Let's check from the table part. Let's refresh this and connect. Yes, table has been created successfully. Now I want to book the ticket right now. Again I am getting the same error. Because why? Because if you see here, you can see the value of the object, railway booking object is coming as null. Now you can check, select star from customer. Awesome, there is no customer details. Because in this scenario, if the amount neither debited from your bank nor the ticket has been booked from the IRCTC portal. Let's check from the railway booking site. Railway booking, let's run this one. Awesome, that means this is one of the important feature of at the rate transactional. That means if the transaction will not successfully completed, it will roll back, it will not save neither in the customer table nor in the railway booking table. But in the last scenario, if you are not using at the rate transactional, though the payment has been completed, the or though the amount has been debited from your bank, but the ticket is not yet still booking from the railway portal site. So that's why we should use at the rate transactional annotation while doing any kind of transaction from our database connectivity. So here we can see one of the important feature of the at the rate transactional annotation. So here you can see like that in the neither the details has been saved into a customer table nor into the railway booking table. So that's why we should use at the rate transaction annotation. So if you change to this one, you can see also you can see like that. So I will show you one more time. I will give this show you another differences. So here if you okay, and customer service, yeah. So now let's see one more observation. So now we run the program once again without at the transactional. So the all the table has been created successfully. Let's refresh this page. Connect table has been created. Now just clear it out and post it. So here you can see we are getting this error, and here you can see like that hibernate insert into customer. That means they are inserting the value into the customer table. So if you want to go to the customer table, so you can see the details, but they are not inserting the value into the railway booking tables. Okay, now if I stop this one, this clear this logs, and if I add at the rate transactional, and if I enable at the rate transaction management, and then if I run this program once again, so in the last scenario you can see right that though the booking has been completed but the ticket is not yet booked, but we are inserting the data into the customer details but not in the railway booking site. Now I will show you another observation over here. Now the program is successfully run. If I refresh this page, table has been created successfully. Let's clear the log and hit it. Now you can see though we are getting insert into customer values over here, but we are not inserting anything in the. So what does it mean? It means whenever you are using here at the rate transactional annotation, so in the method level whenever we are using at the rate transactional annotation, so it will check the two ways. So first it will add over here in the customer repository, that's why it is coming over here insert into customer. After that it will check whether it will we can add that book the ticket from the railway portal or not. If we are not able to book the ticket from the railway portal, it will roll back the entire thing, whatever the data it has been added into the customer table, it will roll back. That rollback will not possible if we are not doing at the rate enable transaction management. So let's check one more time. Has been successfully completed from your bank or has been debited from your bank, but the ticket is not yet booked. But here in this scenario, neither ticket has been booked though they have added the customer into the database, but the ticket is not yet booked because of some system failure or some internet issue. So they are revoking or they are rollbacking all the details, whatever the data they have added into the database, they have revoked everything from the db itself. So that's why we must use at the rate transactional annotation into the database connectivity while we are doing any kind of transaction management system. So today I'm wrapping up over here, and the next video will show you one more exciting topic, that is most probably the JUnit part. So JUnit is one of the important thing for our unit testing case. So whenever we are doing or implementing any new feature or enhancing any new feature into our application, we must write the JUnit to get or to test all type of scenarios, whether it is working properly or not. So tomorrow I will show you how the JUnit works from the Spring Boot application. Till then, bye bye, and subscribe Soudav's Daddy.